Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Julie. Good to be here.
So welcome everyone and whoever's listening right now. So this is our course intro and about the rhythm and the flow of what you can expect over these series of trainings. This is node number 1, as you would know from the title and everything. And we call them nodes because there's a build up to, by the time you've got to all the end of all the nodes, which is a series over 12 months, a larger program, you're building up to your own electrical storm. So for this brief little intro, we're going to do firstly we're going to start with a container. So we'll take a moment to breathe, arrive, be aware of where we are. This container will stay open. You'll be in our care from across all the energies across the world until such time as you finish this course. It's self-paced, at your own timing. There are no rules. Only those that are deciding to do the certificate pathway will have little scheduled tasks of a rhythm over around a 6 to an 8 week period, with closer interaction with both Steve and myself. So for this intro, firstly I'll welcome myself, Julie Allan, and welcome Steve.
Hi, Julie. Yeah, I'm Steve Smith, and it's a pleasure to be here.
We've been doing these trainings for quite some time in a very larger model in a corporate setting. And due to the world as it is now, we've been given the opportunity and the invitation to bring them down into bite-sized pieces and make them more accessible for leaders, but be it at an individual or in organisations, and for coaches around the world. So it is truly our delight to be able to offer you the first node and the start of our series. So thank you. Something that's really important, you'll see the word rhythm and flow. We tend to talk in this language. Some of our language may seem like soft skills. Some of it may be very left brain, some of it very more creative. We use as many aspects of ourselves as possible. That's the capability building that we've had and created through the gifts awareness. Always remembering to operate through our primary gifts. Even though you've received the whole gift assessment, probably about a 17-page report that you've gone, oh no, what am I going to travel through now? Our main focus is on the primary gifts. We will always maintain that. So Steve, I'll hand it over to you. In addition to, the container wellbeing, we mentioned the word container before, and what that may mean to someone who's may never even heard that word before. But in Zoom world, with so many online Zooms, we do call it a container. We do open it like a chalice. So over to you, Steve, to explain a little bit more.
Thanks, Jules. The container is a place where you can hold things. So you can hold the energy of people in a group. You can hold your own energy. It's a place where more intelligence can come through and it can speak. So being a container or having a container to help hold you means that it's also a place of safety. And it's a place where you can feel like you're supported and cared and nurtured. Okay, Jules, back to you.
Thank you. So the first part that we invite you into, everything's an invitation. Even though you might hear us say, you need to do this, you actually don't. This is purely an invitation. Everything is your own choice, your own sovereignty, and we invite your own self-agency to the plate. There's not an exam at the end. This is building up your own competencies and based on what you decide to do. The invitation is learning better ways to step away from having your own ego and your own self in the middle always. And so this inner narrative tends to become more still, and you nurture the language in a much more wholesome way, and something that's more heart-filling, more spirit-filling, and more connected with your purpose on this earth. So allow, we use the word allow a lot. Might be so allow it to happen. Just allow it to flow. That can be really, really scary. And we get excited when that happens, because we're taking you to the edge of what you are able to put inside that behavior of, I know that, I already know that, which is how we've been taught to do. We gather information and we stick it in the I knowing. I know this. So we're inviting you to move into the world and stay at the edges of the unknowable. It's not about being teachable. It's about being willing to invite curiosity. Just be more courageous in there. Just play with it. So we might use language you've heard before. They might use language that you've never heard before. Doesn't matter. It will grow. Things that relate to your primary gifts are the things that are going to stimulate you. So we will also travel through suspend, the ability. Some people on this course will have already traveled through this a lot, especially the language about letting go and let come. That's practiced a lot in the round. So some people go to that very, very fast. We're not going to take you there too fast, because suspending, the ability to suspend the narrative, the ability to suspend an idea, is the most powerful capability, and attaches to women at rhythm and flow very, very beautifully. This intro call is a bit longer than a normal intro call, because we're going to give you a feel of Steve and I. You'll notice that Julie will, do most of the talking. It tends to be how we operate, drawing on what's being asked to present, what's being asked to speak at this particular moment, not from what I think I need to say. So engaging the primary gifts from a deeper breathing, deeper part of myself, which is what we talked about initially a minute ago, about going into your breath, just taking a moment. Keep taking moments of going into the breath, letting energy settle. So allow and suspend are the main two we will stay with for quite a while, for these maybe 1 or 2 sessions, to walk you towards the ultimate ending, towards the end of first position, which is a place breath comes to rest. We operate with 3 positions in our work. And the first bridge, the bridge from awareness on the primary gifts to expansion. So the primary gifts are already starting to come down into your head. Right now, there's more of an idea for you deeper inside the power center of your body. And that helps put the syphilis boulder or ball aside. Syphilis.
Try
Good luck.
Sisyphus.
We go with it all. So, Steve, I'll hand it over with you to help tame the energy now.
Thanks, Jules. Yeah. The Sisyphus boulder, for those who are not acquainted with that myth, one of the gods had fallen out of favor and angered other gods. And so Sisyphus was tasked eternally to push a boulder uphill. And as soon as it got to the top of the hill, it would roll down again. So for him, it was a never-ending journey of pushing it uphill, roll back down, push it uphill again. And this can be so in our life too, where it feels like we're pushing a boulder or a huge heavy ball uphill, and we're always pushing it uphill. Whereas what we see is you can just move the ball aside, being responsible for not dropping it on someone else's foot. And so this is a very powerful part of it. In the suspending and in the allowing, it's like the way I used to think, the way I would work with things, the way I would structure it, and all of that, and the way it would take me a long time to get to the point I wanted to get to. I don't have to do that anymore. It's no longer necessary. I don't have to fix it. I don't have to structure some system or form of changing it. I simply need to let it go, let it be. And in that letting it be, then things will start to emerge that perhaps we haven't heard before because we haven't been listening. And they often come forward in the quiet moments. It's the ability in a group, for example, where there's some particular issue and people are talking around it, and then you hit a moment of pause and nobody speaks and nobody's trying to solve it either. And then in a moment, somebody comes up with a thought, a question, an idea, and then it starts to flow. It flows in a different direction. And with that going forward, then people have become more open rather than bringing the old ways through. And this is a really powerful thing that happens. And in our course, we're excited to be able to share more of this with you, so that more quickly you can let go of what no longer serves, which is used a lot today as well, but simply let it be, because there's so much that wants to come through, that is ready to speak, and we just need to move ourselves aside sufficiently for it to happen. Words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom, truths can come out from the most unusual places rather than from think tanks, or where you have so much structure around it that you can only arrive at truth if you follow this path, this way, in this time, and it'll take this long. Truth can speak in an instant, and when it does, it's like, wow, what a breath of fresh air. And how come I haven't listened to this earlier? A question that's no longer needed either, because something has spoken. Run with it, flow with it. And I've seen with clients where when they get this, it changes the way they do life. It changes the way they operate in their business or organizations, in how they lead, in how they are in their personal life. Small example from mine is I started learning to paint about a year ago. And I brought a structure with me that says, you know, that first brushstroke has got to be right. It's got to be perfect. And every brushstroke thereafter. Well, the beauty of experience is, no, it doesn't happen that way. And it still doesn't happen that way. And I'm so cool with that. There's been such a letting go. And it's like, Steve, you can do this. There are people out there that will give you advice. In the group that I'm in, they'll offer the advice free. There's no judgment or criticism by them. And you don't have to take the advice. Just work with it. And if you find it doesn't work for you, paint it out, change it, add color, just move with whatever's coming through. And the beauty of that is that impacts the whole of my life, not just that one area of painting. It's like in other things, in the way I talk with people, this all can flow that same sort of way. I don't need it perfect. The beauty of embodying the gifts is this is how the walk becomes. As we live with these primary gifts that we have, that are part of us and that are imbued in us, it's not that we own the gifts, it's that they will operate through us. Gift of encouragement, for example, is a way of being able to say to myself or to someone else, hey, you've got this. It'll happen. You can do this. You can handle this even if you don't have any answers right now. So Jules, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. You don't need to keep saying back to me. It's all perfect. We will naturally flow. Steve's beautiful sharing. Absolutely beautiful sharing. Thank you. Steve's reminder to always cycle back to your gift so that it moves from the ego of you owning it. It's not your gift, till the gift becomes a power center within himself, within myself, within yourself. So they become, while you may still be pushing the ball in some way, or the boulder, Steve, the painting, whatever narrative that was interfering, they're a gift distortion. We'll get to talk about this further in the course and in more in depth. So with the taster we've given, we look forward to you exploring. We look forward to hearing from you, and make sure you have some fun. It's not about having this internal dialogue that it's all serious, serious, serious. So the most important thing, if we would leave you with this one thing at the end of this course introduction, it is to follow the out breath. The times when you go, that sense of relief. The times when you go, there's another one. Or, of course, they're all out breaths. The secret is to wait. After that out breath, wait, wait, wait. Learn to get more and more comfortable in the unknowing, in the not knowing. So over these 6 series of trainings, or however many of trainings there are, we learn to teach ourselves, serve and learn along the way of how to expand that field in a more profound way. So it stops being about this part of yourself or that part of yourself, masculine, feminine, male, female, gender, non-gender. All of that is completely suspended and you become your most powerful human self, natural self, through the essence and the genius of the primary gifts. So I'm going to say farewell and I'll hand it over to Steve for his farewell. Thank you for this opportunity and privilege to serve.
And thank you indeed for this listening. We look forward to being with you further on this course. So goodbye from me for now. Till next time.
Farewell, everyone.